Hi everybody, Laura here for Pinkfresh Studio. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a couple of fun slimline projects to share with you featuring the You Are Amazing stamp set along with the coordinating stencil set. So this is what she looks like. She's a beautiful slimline sized leaf pattern background, and then the stencil set includes 3 stencils that allow you to get creative and add color effortlessly to your leaf background. I'm going to start by embossing this leaf You Are Amazing background in clear on a panel of white cardstock. And I do have my camera zoomed out as far as I can go because I'm using the Memory Misty, which is 12 by 12. It's large, but this does fit the You Are Amazing stamp well. It gives you lots of breathing room, but a little bit hard to catch on the camera because it's so big. But I did recently just see Shannon do a video with the You Are Amazing stamp set, and she used the regular size Misty. So I guess it can be done. She must have squeezed it in there. But I pulled out the Memory Misty because actually this is the first time I've ever used the Memory Misty. She's a large one. I mean, you know what you gotta do is you gotta clear off your desk. And that was an issue because you don't ever see all the surrounding area of my desk that looks like a bomb went off, but I just keep my grid mat nice and tidy. Now I have a panel of cream and I'm embossing the You Are Amazing leaf pattern in antique gold. Now I'm heating these both with the heat gun. Once you get it hot, do 2 at once. And there's something magical about embossing antique gold. You know what I mean? It's just shiny, makes you feel fancy schmancy. And then the clear on white, hard to really see, but it'll come to life when we add the color, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start with a light base coat on the background. I'm adding a little bit of sparkling rose to one side, and then on the other side, I'm going to do apricot. And I am using these Altenew blending tools because I just love them. They cover a lot of area with minimal effort, and they give a smooth blend. And I've been using them a lot with the Pinkfresh Studio inks. It's kind of like, I don't know, don't ask, but you can use any tool that works for you. So there you have it. I've got a little pink on the right, a little orange on the left, and I'm going a little heavier on the outer edges, fading it into lights for that gradient goodness. Now here is the You Are Amazing stencils, and I'm going to start laying down each one. You line them up. Sometimes you got to fiddle and futz and shimmy those stencils around until they lock in to the proper pattern on your leaf background. But eventually you will find it and it'll lock in, and then you can add color to the individual leaves. This first stencil I'm just doing the same color, like tone on tone, sparkling rose and apricot, kind of subtle but kind of awesome. Now this says the second stencil, which I taped down. It's a little easier when you tape it down. I pulled out sunshine ink, doing a little yellow on top of the pink and orange. Wasn't sure how it was going to look, but I'm just winging with it. I'm improvising today, and I'm actually surprised how good this yellow looks on top. It really does. Looks great. Now I'm onto the third stencil. Lock that into place and tape it down. Now for this one, I wanted to go vivid, so I pulled out the darker orange shade, which is Clementine. And then for the pink, I'm actually going to pull out Coral Reef, which is in the red color family. So I wanted some leaves to be real vivid and some leaves to be subtle, just to spice it up, you know, keep it spicy. So there you have it. Now once I lift this up, you'll see it looks really cool. And I love that I laid down that base coat so that the leaves aren't too stark. And I rubbed that down with a dry paper towel, and now I'm going to trim it down and I'm going to flick it. I'm going to flick. Here's how it goes with me and flicks. Either I don't do any flicks ever on cards, or when I do flicks, I flick like my life depended on it. So this is some Pinkfresh Studio liquid watercolors. I got a pink shade and an orange shade. Flicking the pink on the pink side, flicking some orange flicks on the orange side. And then if that was enough, I'm pulling out this Winsor & Newton white gouache, and I'm flicking on some white flicks. Like, go hard or go home. That's what I say. So there you have it. Gives it a great texture and lots of stuff going on that background. I trimmed it down so I could pop it up on a white slimline card base, and gives you that nice white border. Now I'm going to add a frame. This is the Slim Stitched Rectangles die set. I used 2 of them to create a white glittered frame like that. And I'm going to pop this up, and this is going to begin to draw the eye into the center like so. And I don't really have a plan. Now this is one of the fancy label frames, and I'm combining it with the basic label frames. So for the fancy one, I die cut it with, again, more white glittered cardstock. I'm going to emboss a sentiment, also from the You Are Amazing stamp set. I'm embossing this in white onto black cardstock, and then I'll heat that with the heat gun. And I'm going to die cut that with one of the basic label frames, just like so. Now, this was a little bit small, so I needed something to fill it out. So I did the next size larger in vellum. And then I decided, why not, Laura? You know how I like to strip it up. And listen, like, you don't have to tell me. I already know. There's a lot going on here today. A lot going on. There's a beautiful leafy background, blended, flicked to the high heavens, glitter frames, and now we're adding strips. I mean, what more can you ask for? Now I'm popping up the sentiment right in the center. And I mean, don't forget the embellishments. If you've gone this far, go all the way with some clear, sparkling sequins. And card number 1 is finished. What do you think? I kind of love it. It was a labor of love, but it was definitely fun. Now for card number 2, basically doing the same thing, but I do have that leaf pattern embossed in gold onto cream. So it's going to give a different look. And I'm also doing cool tones this time. Instead of pink and orange, I'm doing fresh pear and ocean breeze. So we're going green, we're going aqua. Now I'm laying on the stencils, and I'm basically doing the same thing. So now I can just talk, right? Today, speaking of improvising, because that's what I did on these cards, I improvised in the kitchen. Yeah, I went to Aldi, like I do almost every day. It's a 6-minute walk, and I'm going to get something for lunch. And we eat bread. Like, the bread here in Germany is knock your socks off. You know what I'm saying? But like, sometimes you feel like you could explode because you're eating so much bread. So I knew I needed to lay off a little bit. And but I didn't want another salad. So I'm like, let's do soup. So I was going down the aisle, and there was a few soup packages. They had onion soup. I think it was asparagus. Now, these are in German, so I don't always really know what I'm buying. But I bought a package of soup. I think it was like a noodle, like a brothy noodle package, 38 cents. And I thought, I'm going to zhuzh this up. Okay, so I took the package of soup. I bought some mushrooms, some peas, some green onion, a little cream. I added it all in there, zhuzhed it up to the high heavens. And you know what? It was darn good. It was darn good, but I'm not going to lie. We had some bread with it. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You can't escape the bread, Okay, so now this time I'm using the Slim Ornate banner dies. So you see how they have that ornate edging on the left side? I want to have that ornate edging on both sides. So now I'm going to do this partial die cutting. I'm only die cutting where the cutting plate is towards the ornate end. And I'll show you here how it looks. See how it only cut the left side? Now what I'm going to do is flip that die around and line it in so it kind of locks into the already die cut part. Partial die cut it again, and this will give you that ornate trim on both ends of your frame, which I did in kind of a teal color because it kind of tied in with the color scheme I'm going with here. And then now, can't forget the strips. Like, if you're going to strip it up on first card, you might as well strip it up on the second card. But this time I thought, hey, let's get fancy, go on an angle, right? So I trimmed some strips of coordinating colors, adhered them down on the angle, popping up my slim ornate banner frame. I went ahead and embossed another sentiment from the You Are Amazing. Now, this is one of the fancy label frames, which I did out of gold foil cardstock. But you see how it just doesn't really fit? It's kind of too big. So I'm going to cut that in half. I kind of trimmed off a little bit off the top and a little bit off the bottom. I'm customizing my own fancy label frame. You can do that. You can do that. You can do whatever you want. There's no fancy label frame police. If a frame doesn't fit, make it fit. That's what I say. So I'm going to pop that up right on the diagonal strips. And then for embellishment, I have some of these Pinkfresh Studio jewels or gemstones. I'm not sure, but they match. They're like in coordinating colors. And card number 2 is finished. This was a 10-minute long video. If you stayed till the end, bravo. What do you think of these 2 slimline cards featuring the You Are Amazing stamp set and coordinating stencil set? I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.
Join the Pinkfresh community today and subscribe to our channel as we make beautiful creations together.